Hi, and welcome to New Moon Mindset. And Joanna and I are still here from day one, same place. We haven't moved for 6 days, and we're still at this most magical tree. I love it here. And we're talking about nutrition. So we spoke the last time around we can eat whatever we want. We just need to change what we want. We spoke about setting the task of having 3 new things that we include in our shopping list. Eat, grow, potentially.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more today. And today's theme on nutrition is
eating organically, eating seasonally, and eating locally. So those are 3 things for me that have been a massive change in terms of my nutrition habits.
Okay, so let's start with the eating organically. Love the concept, and I love eating organically. However, it's really expensive.
Yeah, it absolutely. I guess it can be, and that's one of the first things that people say. What I find is when we relate that to eating seasonally, then the price considerably drops, first and foremost. And also, if you can build a network, and there are different ways of doing this, and maybe when we explore it a bit more, I'll give more ideas and suggestions around that. When you create your own local network, maybe visit your local farmers market, those types of things, you're dealing directly, so the middleman comes out of the picture, and the price really does change.
Okay.
So it makes it accessible. And again, it doesn't need to be your whole shopping list. If you can think of one thing each week that you're just going to swap out and change, and say, instead of buying standard carrots, I'm going to buy organic carrots.
Okay.
And every little counts on that side of stuff, so every tiny little shift is going to make a difference.
Okay. So eating organically, eating locally, and eating seasonally. So why locally and why seasonally? Why is this an important habit to build from a nutrition perspective?
Yeah, I mean, the human body is just amazing, and yet it's only one part of a much wider world that has been perfectly designed. I mean, nature doesn't make mistakes. It gets it right every time. We as humans think we can fix it or change it, but we often mess that up. A lovely example of this is honey, and I know in recent years you will have heard people talking about hay fever season and how local honey can help hay fever. And often what happens there is that everybody starts to look for local honey come May or the summer months. The real time to eat honey and local honey to help with hay fever is at that time of year when we naturally eat honey. It's in the winter months. So we know it as a winter food. It's seasonal to winter. It helps with throat infections and all sorts of coughs and colds, and there's loads and loads and loads of benefits there with honey. But what that also does is it exposes us to the pollen that is local to us. And if we're eating that in the winter months, come the summer months, it can have, obviously not for everybody, but for a lot of us, it can have a really huge impact on how we are affected by the hay fever season. And that's just one example of how each area, even like I'm quite fascinated by honey and bees and all of that, because that's where the organic eating fits in as well. We're doing so much for the whole ecosystem of everything that we are part of. But honey that's produced within a 5-mile radius of my house will be very different to honey that's produced 25 miles away. It's that specific. And if we can eat seasonally, then we get the foods that we need at the right time of year. We need root vegetables in the autumn months. We need lighter salads in the summer months, because we're constantly adapting to the environment and what's going on there. And if we're giving our body what it needs for the season, then we're in optimum health and well-being.
Okay. So again, I love this idea. This is a very gentle approach. It's a very loving approach. It's an accepting approach, because there's a degree of acceptance here. We're accepting that nature's got it figured out. So we just need to follow the pattern and the rhythm of nature.
Yeah.
So eating locally, eating seasonally, and ideally eating organically is what's good for our bodies.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about here. This is this new moon mindset of eating what's good for us.
Yeah.
Okay, so first lesson was you can eat whatever you want. We just need to change what we want.
Yeah.
And the second lesson is eat organically as much as we can, as best we can, without causing ourselves too much grief when we can't do it all the time. Eating locally as much as we can, and eating seasonally as best we can. Okay, and that then it will all have that beautiful, beautiful knock-on effect.
Yeah, we just are nourished. This is about nourishing our bodies, and we're nourished by nature. We're nourished by the moon. There's so many elements of nature that nourish us in so many different ways. And when we work with the seasons, like the changing phases of the moon, and it just all fits in together beautifully.
Beautiful. Okay, fantastic. So in terms of actions, when we said we can eat whatever we want, we just need to change what we want, we spoke about finding 3 new things to include within our diet, whatever they might be. So maybe the challenge here is let's find 3 things over the next 6 days that are a combination of local, organic and seasonal, and maybe to do it in a way where we think about that and we're aware of it, and we're feeling good about the fact that we're aligning ourselves with nature rather than pushing ourselves against it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Thank you, Joanne.
Yeah. Enjoy that journey because it's really good. It's
Super. Alrighty, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Thanks.